So in order to make this skirt, you're gonna need a ruler, some fabric, some pins, fabric chalk, some heat bond, an iron, measuring tape, a needle and a thread, as well as some scissors. Okay, so this is the material that I'm gonna be using for the maxi skirt. First thing I did was I isolated 3 of the patterns. So 1, 2, and then 3. You can do however you like. My other video I used 3 yards of the fabric. This I'm isolating the pattern because I want it to basically fall a particular way. So after you isolate your pattern or whatever fabric you're using, I'm going to use this top part of the pattern to be my what is it called? My waist belt. So I'm just gonna cut this part off right here all the way till I get to the end. So after you isolate your waistband from the skirt, you want to use a ruler and chalk and measure 1/2 inch from the top, and that's where you'll go on ahead and make your gathers. So after you trace the line, you're going to take your needle and the thread and the fabric, and you're just going to go in and out along the line until you get to the other side. So just keep going in and out. So after you finish going through the top perimeter with the needle, this is how it should look gathered. So for my big girls, I would suggest you use 4 panels if you're using the panel method, or 3 yards if you're not using the panel method. When you set the skirt aside, set it aside with your needle and thread still intact because you'll need the length of the thread to make the skirt fit your waist. So my waist when measured is 29 inches. So I'm just going to add 2 inches to it. I'm going to add 2 inches to it and cut 31 inches. So there goes my 31 inches right there. Mark your fabric and then fold it where marked so that you have 31 inches when it's folded. You then want to cut it at that 31 inch mark and then also cut the fold so that you have 2 strips of 31 inches. At this point, you'll be ready for the next step. Iron your 2 strips of fabric down to get them ready for the fusing process. So this is what we're going to be using to bond our fabrics to each other. This will require us not to have to sew. So first time using it, let's see how it goes. Already got one out the package. So I'm going to peel this tape that's holding it together off. And here goes the fusible material. So it's a rough side that I suspect to be glue. I'm sure it is. This is too thick, so I'm going to cut it in half. So with this, I'm going to measure out 32 inches. So after aligning the bonding tape where I want it to bond, I'm going to go over it with my iron. Okay, so I just peeled it off. Now you want to take your other part of the waistband and align it with the fabric that has the bonding glue on it. And then you also want to iron on top of that as well. So iron and then just let it dry. So after that's said and done, I would open it, iron it quickly just to open it up, and then flip the other side over so that you have your waistband. And then iron that keep it open. So here we have our waistband that has been fused together with the fabric bond. So now what we're going to do is we're going to take our skirt that we put aside. This is about 3/4 of an inch. That's about 3/4 of an inch. We want to open our skirts to that length. So what I want you to do is, this is the open part of the waistband. Flip it so that it's up, and then go on ahead and mark again where you had marked initially on the opposite side. And then right at the top, you're going to align the edges together and then pin it. Tuck on the damn pin. Oh, you can't see it. So you're going to align the edges together like this and then pin it. You're going to do the same thing for this side as well. So align the edges together and then pin it. So after you do that, just spread the gathers so that they're evenly distributed across the waistband. So you're going to align the top part of the gathers with the top part of the waistband, the open part of the waistband actually. And now to stabilize it for when we do the glue bonding, what you're going to do is right at the top of the waistband, you should feel it. You want to secure these gathers to it. So align it, figure out where the top is, and then secure some gathers to it with the pin. So I'm doing this as much as I can just to make sure that the gathers don't move, or that I can get a good amount of gathers when I do the bonding. Because it's not, when you're doing it, it's not going to be as secure as sewing, I would suppose. So this is preventing me from having to do some potential double work. So after you're done, this is what it should look like. This is what the opposite side should also look like as well. You're going to remove the pins from the top parts of the waistbands right here. Just secure them somewhere else. Now just fold back the ruffles and secure it down if you have to, just to keep it out of your way for when you're putting the bonding glue. So now, take your other strip of bonding glue so you're going to align it, then you're going to start to iron again. Okay. Peel it off. Then go on ahead and take off these pins that you used to secure. And I would iron on this side. So after that, go on ahead and remove these pins that were holding the gathers in place. go on ahead and remove all of them. Flip your waistband over on the seam of the bonding glue so that the raw edges of the ruffles are in between the two strips of fabric that we're using for the waistband. We'll do another double take on the ironing just to iron that side flat. Okay, so now we're gonna fold this part over here on top of it to kind of be the securing bond. Kind of do that there. Alright, so I'm going to take another strip of your glue bond right here. Adhere that to the other side of the waistband. And don't keep the iron on too long. It does something to the tape. Toya. Fold that over. Here is your almost completed skirt. So for the hem of the skirt, I'm going to use the bonding tape again, but I'm going to do something a little bit different. Instead of like going across the whole perimeter of the bottom, I'm going to do it in like breaks. So I'll put some bonding glue for maybe about 2 inches or 4 inches, and then I'll put like there'll be a 3 or 4 inch break, and I'll continue to do that off and on until I reach all the way around the end. So just remember, you want to put the bonding glue on the wrong side of the fabric so that when you hem it, you're not hemming it on the right side of the fabric, because that'd just be tacky. So for the back part, take your zipper, measure out where you want your zipper to stop or where your zipper ends, and then like use some chalk to basically mark that place. Then take your tape, your bonding tape, measure it down to the end. Woo! Cut it, and then cut it in half. Like such, like we've been doing, you know, no need to waste what we don't need. Hi, so put the tape on about 1 inch away from the edge of it. Iron it, make sure it's secured, peel it off. Take the other side of it and align that. So after you have fused together this side, you'll then have an opening right up here, and this is where you're going to place your zipper. So I've done one side of it already, so I'll go ahead and do the other side. So what you're going to do is, I'm using an invisible zipper. I wish I had a regular one because I would have used that, but I don't, so here it goes. So the top part of the zipper, you're going to align it to where this part right here is the clear fused part of it, is all the way at the top of the fabric. So pin it in place. I'm using the line right here as kind of like a guide. I'm just going to keep pinning down. Okay, so you have a piece, some of the zipper left over, that's fine. Go on ahead and zip up to check your alignment. Okay. So if your alignment looks good, you're going to proceed to the next step, which is sewing with a needle and a thread. Since this is the invisible zipper, you want to bend back this zipper part that folds over like that. You want to bend it back to expose the fold, and then sew along that fold line. So I'm going to show you how I sew it. So how I sew this is, I go in, come out the other side, come back in again. I hope y'all can see this. Pull up, and then where I went in the first time, I'm going to go back in there again. And then this side, this time, instead of coming out the same place I came out the last time, I'm going to come out probably about about 1/4 of a centimeter off. I don't know if y'all can see that. I hope y'all can. So when I come back out, I'm going to then go in where I came out the last time, and I'm just going to keep going 1 centimeter off from the last loop. So I'll show you an example with something that's a little bit more apparent, like white and black or something. So this is the stitch that I used for the zipper. There you go. So my skirt is finished, guys, and this is what it looks like. So this is the front, and this is the back with the zipper. Yeah, I can see that. So I hope you guys enjoyed this tutorial. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. If you didn't, please leave some comments on what I could do to make it a better tutorial for y'all. And I will talk to you guys again. Bye. Have a wonderful week.